Hmm? Chari? Okay. Charitable, selfless. Okay. Humble. Why he will be humble? Okay.
More cooperation.
Humble, more cooperative.
Cooperation.
Okay. Okay. What else? Hmm? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, we see that when we are working in Krishna consciousness and we are expected to work like, as we were discussing second part, without being attached. But as he said that it is not that we are attached to nothing. When we are working, we are attached to pleasing spiritual master, pleasing Prabhupada, pleasing Krishna. So it is not that we are just working without any goal and working in, it's like rashly just working whatever comes to. So we have a attachment, but not to the goal, but to please superiors. So that makes that work very enjoyable, that makes that work very fulfilling, that makes that work devotionally nourishing, like that. So just to get an proper idea of what we are discussing here, and then we can compare that how a okay, before going to that example, we can see that now we are uh, left job, left society, and that means almost we have left all the result oriented competitive world, like that. So we just come here, get up early in the morning, chant Hare Krishna, dance in Kirtan, prasad comes, have prasad, and then uh, sometimes you have to tolerate so many feasts, like that. So, so that's how the life goes. There are no deadlines. There are no hanging sword of losing job. There is no kind of we have to like so much of fever of proving oneself or competition. That is not there. But then, although we have come from competitive world to competitionless world, but still we see that we carry forward this mentality of doership or being very attached to the result of work. So then, okay, can you give some example that how a preacher or a brahmachari can land up in first category when, yeah, okay. Can you give some example so that it becomes easy to understand? I'm looking for the examples.
Like authority is looking for now, his service is not that prominent in a particular, like example in a kitchen, he need some devotees to do, and Sankirtan there are many devotees, but kitchen there are no devotees. So authority is requesting from transfer of service zone from Sankirtan to kitchen. So generally, no, 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 I'm happy in this seva, I'm doing good, distributing books nicely, so I want to be here. That kind of.
Okay. So, uh, change of seva or change of position, change of that becomes very challenging. There is aversion to do any seva like that. Okay, anything, any other example? What can? Hmm?
Focusing more on collecting stars instead moons.
Instead?
Moon.
So, we see that our the whole goal is to number बढ़ाना अपना, ऐसा तो क्या बोलते हैं उसको? हाँ, वो नंबर नहीं, नंबर मतलब वो जैसे मार्क्स में नंबर बढ़ाते हैं, हाँ, लाइक्स और बीइंग इन द गुड बुक्स, हाँ, वो फॉलोअर्स नहीं बोल रहा हूँ मैं, increasing our good reputation, like that. Okay, what else?
Preaching in choice. So somebody is attached to the preaching only. So he will not allow somebody to come in.
Okay. Yeah, so sometimes it happens that one devotee, like when we are, yeah, some places for book distribution they are very potent, and then one devotee was 2-3 days he was doing 100 Mahabig books when he used to go for this bus stop, Swargate, that type of. They go inside bus and then announce, and then they distribute. So in one day, some devotees used to distribute 100 also, like that. So devotees were, trying their best here there. So one devotee got this place. So then when he came back, he was not ready to tell from where he got big score, because he thought that if I tell now, then tomorrow there will be 10 other brahmacharis there, and then it will be difficult. Then I'll not have 100 score. Then I'll have to be happy with the 50 or 60, something like that. Somebody else will share my score, like that. So there is a mentality of hoarding it.
Once went for Sankirtan in Bombay. So one temple was there where we are doing Sankirtan. So when Mataji or Prabhuji came, so he was asking that from where, which temple you came here. So I told from Juhu. No, he told that already we are preaching here. So I told them we came just for Sankirtan only. We are not holding some programs actually. So these cases.
Yeah. So that also is there, that people are insecure because of that. So I am asking, as a preacher, IYF devotee, how he becomes kind of entangled in this first category of, because he is attached to result. how his life becomes complex. I want examples of IYF brahmachari. Okay.
मेरे group, तेरा group.
Okay.
If now I am happily serving in choice services and then now need is there to do something in temple services, then as a authority said I will do, but my efficiency will be not there, or I can show that I am of not, useless here. Why are you telling me to do services here? I am doing my service there better. So somehow or other, if this mentality will be there, I will show myself useless. I will not put my heart in the service, or I will be like less efficient and like a hopeless. I want to somehow or other go to that service zone where I am my area, like I am the boss there, I am the king. Like that.
So there is a reluctance in service change, or so that is because at our stage also, rather than seeing that all services are Krishna's services, all services are coming through my spiritual master only, then we start discriminating between the services. Okay, good.
Um, so as a IYF preacher, when we preach to youth, so when I like just joined, during that time there was a era that many people wanted to make more brahmacharis. So I've seen this personally, even it happens with many of IYF preachers, that by seeing some submissive or kind of innocent or sadhu boy, they had their own plannings for the future of that boy. कि यार he looks nice, he is a perfect Gaurang Sabha candidate or Brahmachari candidate. And naturally what happens, because he has prepared something for him or his future, he, while counseling or whenever that boy comes, they try to keep that goal that I want to make him like this particular person, grahastha or brahmachari. Anyway, this particular case was in like through brahmachari perspective. So he always guided him in that way. So it's when it came to job, he guided him in that way. And naturally it ended up that that boy was not having inclination towards joining the brahmacharya ashram, although he was looking like a sadhu, but still he was more inclined towards grahastha ashram. But what happened, due to the counseling of so many years, like during his education, during his work, during his jobs, he could not settle him financially or through job wise also, economically or financially. So it became a little bit frustrating situation for this particular boy, and ultimately he didn't join the brahmacharya ashram. That frustration, most of the time it happens that we become attached to our own counselees also. Like, he's mine, don't go to anyone else, you are mine, that kind of a mentality. And so this brahmachari also became so frustrated. I wanted that he should join, his array. Then he started brainwashing. That boy became more frustrated. This brahmachari again became frustrated, and finally it came to IYF core committee. And when it happened so that meeting on this particular case, that devotee said, ultimately I will not preach only. And so he stopped preaching to IYF boys. He went to congregation preaching, but he didn't, that one incident, he couldn't take it. So he said, if my counsel joins another ashram, I will also join another ashram. This happened. And after the marriage of his counselee, 3.5 years after, he also joined the same army of Grahastha ashram. So that is a very clear and crystal clear case in front of me, which I seen in my initial days.
Yeah. So nice example that how uh, the whole brahmacharya ashram is based on detached work. And if you are not detached, in short term basis, you fry out other person because you are attached to something which you want him also to, and then in long term, because of that attachment, he has to uh, leave the goal for which he has come in ashram. The way here he sees that he also, because rather than cutting down that attachment, on the name of preaching, he was just feeding that attachment. He was feeling that I am doing very nice work. I'm making nice full-time devotees. So that is not a problem. But then if you are attached to that to such an extent that some failure is there in that, then you become frustrated. So when there is a attachment to any service, attachment to fruits coming from that service, then that weakens our detachment, because attachment and detachment, they both are opposite. So when you are attached, surely then detachment is little loose, like that. So brahmachari means he has to have a minimum detachment. When that detachment goes below that level, then it becomes very difficult for that devotee to be in ashram. Then he has to change to another ashram. So it is very important that we learn to work in detached way. Otherwise it is like a life threatening for a brahmachari. Problem happens this only, that on the name of preaching, on the name of helping, on the name of serving, on the name of bringing glory to Prabhupada, on the name of so many such titles, one may foster or feed the attachment. Then it becomes very difficult. Understand? So person is attached, but if you tell him that Prabhu, you are attached, he says, you are envious of me. You are not able to do, and then I am doing it, and then you encourage other get lost. So like that he feels that I am doing such a nice work, and these people unnecessarily negatively commenting like this, discouraging, not good. So that is the problem with attachment. Okay, any other example?
तो कंबाइंडली सेवा करते तो फिर एक डिवोटी से कुछ गलती हो गया और रिजल्ट कुछ ख़राब आ गया, देन वी आर नॉट एबल टू टेक इट. वी ब्लेम द इधर डिवोटी और सिचुएशन, क्योंकि हम रिजल्ट से अटैच हैं. देन आवर सेल्फ बिकम फ्रस्ट्रेटेड आल्सो, रिजल्ट नॉट केम.
Yeah. So that frustration is the first gear of that attachment. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Now, some 3, 4, 5 months ago, we have like this book distribution. We went to book distribution, and then after coming from book distribution, all devotees were, they want some spiritual break, some relaxment, but we have a big target of this Tarang. So all the preachers, they just now came back, some are coming, and then we had this program, anniversary program, and then again we have to now next target of bringing so many youths. So very difficult was there that now to how to now uh, it should not be go to the exploitative mentality and exploit the devotees. We will achieve the big result, but at the end of the tarang, we will lose the devotees only, brahmacharis, that they are so much months after months, they are like working, slogging hard and neglecting their sadhana and all that. So the leader, if he is like in this category, then he will have the big program, Tarang, successful. But at the end of the Tarang, he will lose his own men, or they will be frustrated, or they will feel exploited. And next time, whenever the Tarang will come, no Tarang, because last year my experience was not good like that. So if the leader is not result oriented, then this like Vishnu Guruji is always used to taking care that तो ऐसा नहीं है अभी आप ऐसा मत सोच मेरे को बोलते थे हमेशा मैं तो चलो क्यों नहीं करते क्या बोलते ना आप क्यों नहीं जा रहे रजिस्ट्रेशन करने के लिए प्रो जी मेरा टेम्परेचर डाउन करते थे अरे तुमको मालूम है वो आए हैं थोड़ा शांति दो उनको अभी आए बूटिशन करने के लिए ये है क्या थोड़ा सा प्रभु जी यूज टू ऑलवेज टेक केयर कि डिवोटीज उस जोन में नहीं जाना चाहिए कि अभी बस रिजल्ट लाना है कैसे भी करके भले ही कॉस्ट ऑफ द डिवोटीज तो दिस इज लाइक वन एग्जाम्पल
Yeah. So we see that on the name of preaching or pleasing Prabhupada, then we end up in exploiting devotees. That's what happens when we are attached to the results like that. And we have a very nice excuse to tell to them that anyway we are just pleasing Prabhupada, it's not my program. So then becomes difficult to deal in that situation. Okay.
प्रभु जी क्वेश्चन था जैसे प्रभु जी बताए थे कल कि देर आर 3 टाइप्स ऑफ सर्विसेज विच आर टोल्ड टू डू और लाइक टू डू और एक बताए थे प्रभु जी हाँ डोंट लाइक टू डू सो एक ये हो गया कि मुझे सेवा पसंद है इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूँ और एक्चुअली हार्ट टू हार्ट ही इज़ अटैच टू दैट सर्विस और द रिजल्ट और फैसिलिटीज़ कमिंग फ्रॉम दैट सर्विस ऐसा एक सिचुएशन होता है और दूसरा होता है कि प्रभुपाद जी के नाम से बोल रहे हैं कि भाई ठीक है प्रभुपाद जी को रिजल्ट ला के दे रहा हूँ नहीं तो प्रभुपाद जी के लिए सेवा कर रहा हूँ तो आप करने नहीं दे रहे सो दैट मीन्स यू आर एनियस ऑफ मी तो अभी दोनों जोन डेंजरस है क्यों इधर लाइकिंग के लिए हम फैसिलिटीज़ जो आ रही है उसके लिए कर रहे हैं और इधर हम प्रभुपाद जी के नाम से हमारे ये कर रहे सो अभी एक साधक है मेरे जैसा जिसको खुद का अनर्थ पता नहीं सो हाउ ही कैन आइडेंटिफाई दिस जोन्स ये जोन में जा रहे हैं प्रभु जी ने बताया था कि विष्णु तो प्रभु जी बता रहे थे कॉन्स्टेंटली क्या रे
Yeah, our Giriraj Maharaj tells this example that when he was temple president, and then practically all devotees were like equal to him only, same age almost. So when Prabhupada will come, Prabhupada will give different services to different devotees. So of course in the beginning days Juhu was not so well economically. So hardly devotees had some basic minimum facilities. So one devotee, Prabhupada had told that you take care of the garden. So he was very enthusiastic. He used to come and he used to tell that अभी गार्डन बनाना है 1000 रुपये दे दो 2000 रुपये दे दो and then as a temple president he has to see that which is kind of immediate urgency and things like that. So he was not getting his funds So he was boiling inside. So one day he came and he was like head on. He said that I am not doing this service for my own sake. Prabhupada told this to do. Are you going to give me funds or not? And then Maharaj very softly, he was trying to tell him that, wait, we will give you, but now, not now. So he became so, he was aggressive already, and he was like, he has crossed the boundary of his patience. So he became so angry, he wanted to beat Giraj Maharaj. But he couldn't because 2-3 devotees were there. So in great anger, he spat on face of Giraj Maharaj. And then our Loknath Maharaj had just joined ashram just few days back. He was also there. He fainted only. Fell, by seeing that, "Arey, kya chal raha hai ye?" Spiritual world. So then Giraj Maharaj was very peaceful. He just wiped it off and then continued his services. So you can see that now Giraj Maharaj was working as a manager, as a leader, because he has to see many other areas. He has to give preference, this, that. But then when we are single person, we have only one seva, and then that is most preferable to us. Then sometimes we fail to understand that this seva is so important for me. Why that same importance is not given by the top person? I am not doing for myself. So we can see that lot of time this can go in that zone. That when we are attached to something, then there is a clash inevitable with other devotees or superiors, or sometimes with Krishna also. Because when we have something which we are attached and Krishna takes it away, then one can fight with Krishna also. That how can you do like this? So there is a issues he can create for oneself, others, and the organization also. That. Okay. Any other examples?
Prabhuji, I have one query that
Yeah.
if people like initially to engage in them services, okay, you get the results. Results are the motivation to do that service. You can encourage, but after some time, we have like detached from the results, but is attached to the work. I will do this type of service only. So then also it will be encouraged for some being until he is purified. But over the period of time, right now we give that example. That person is so much get attached with that work, he not developed the sufficient detachment to the work. Recently I hear Radhana Somar has quoted that same question asked. How one person is, if he complete detached work, he cannot work only. He needs some attachment. The Radhana Somar has told that yes, he has to work like as like karmi outside, who has strong attachment to the work. But the moment when the superiors authorities told you shift to the other work, then immediately he has to be ready to shift. That is the greatest platform. But all are not on that platform. And the successive progresses are there. But in this case, of course, I am not a person to ask like that question, but I am asking, Giriraj Maharaj could understand that person not on that level. So could have given some facility for him to render to continue that service.
Yeah, but if he has no money only in his bank balance, how he will facilitate him? He was asking for money and the money was not there. It was not that they had a big money and then it was only to be allotted. Problem was not allocation. Problem was money was not there. Funds were not there. So he was telling that I'll give you, but not now. But then he was feeling that you stop all other works because this is most important. Because Prabhupada has told me this. So then he has to understand that others also were told by Prabhupada only. Prabhupada only has told somebody to go out and distribute books. Prabhupada only has told somebody to construct this building, get it ready as early as possible. Prabhupada only has told other people to take care of that thing. And then Prabhupada has told him also to take care of that things. So generally what happens is every person feels that my service is most important. Because that's how general tendency goes. So that's how it is very, it is like, that was very nice in Pune. Radhesham Prabhu trained us like that. He used to make practically everybody manager, at least for some days. So when I joined, within I think 1.5 years only I was manager. I was allotting services to 10-15 years senior to me. I used to tell him that, oh, today is your cleaning seva. So like that. And so then after being manager, I can understand how difficult manager seva is. It's like so many parameters and so many devotees you have to take care, and it's like take everything together. You have to be very transparent, helping, understandable, accommodative, like that. So I was there around 6 months. I was there. More than 6 months, nobody lasted, because that is such a pressure is there. It's like then they started 2 shifts, morning shift and evening shift, because one day was unbearable, like morning till evening, so many things, coming like that. So that was one way he was teaching that. Then when we went through that, practically everybody went through that, then we understand that, okay, here is a person who is taking so many guns on his chest. Let me cooperate with him, because I don't want to give another bullet. So so that's how I became a little more mature, understanding others' position before making other people make them understand my situation. Generally we feel that others should understand me, but generally we fail to understand others. It's like that. So first we try to understand others, then we can tell this is my situation, like that. So both things should go parallelly. When we are telling that others should understand me, should also go parallelly with I understand you, or I try to understand. I give sufficient time and energy. So we put ourselves in other shoes and see what is his challenges, like that. So manager understands that, because he's not, no service is his service. All services are his service. So then he has to, kind of, his view become little wider. So it's like that. Huh? No bottle. Okay, so we'll take off for now, Prasad. When we come back, then we'll discuss that how when somebody is attached, work becomes almost, the seva becomes almost like work. So more than brahmachari, we reduce to karmachari. when there is attachment. So it becomes like that. So that we will see in our after Prasad. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.